Welcome back, Marvel fans. We have an intriguing update that has left Marvel fans buzzing. In a surprising turn of events, Robert Downey, Jr.B., recently hinted in a new interview that his return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe might be as Victor Von Doom, not as a variant of Tony Stark. However, I'm not entirely convinced just yet. Marvel Studios has a history of intentionally misleading fans to keep the element of surprise alive. It's not a deceptive or malicious tactic, but rather a way to enhance our viewing experience, keeping us guessing and on our toes. Remember when the Russo brothers claimed that Avengers 4 would not be titled Avengers Endgame? Well, we all know how that turned out. During the interview, Downey Jr.B. mentioned a conversation with Kevin Feige where the idea of his return was discussed. Initially, the conversation began with Robert discussing his involvement with Disney parks as Tony Stark, but it soon evolved into something much more significant: his potential comeback to the MCU as Doctor Doom. This revelation took even Robert's wife by surprise, as she questioned what role he would be returning to play. The idea of him reprising his role as Tony Stark seemed unlikely, considering the perfect closure his character received in Avengers Endgame with that iconic "I am Iron Man" moment. As Downey Jr.B. continued, he reflected on how Kevin Feige, the mastermind behind the MCU, proposed the idea of him returning as Victor Von Doom. Feige's approach was not about revisiting the past or disappointing expectations, but rather about pushing the boundaries of creativity and surprising the audience. This conversation highlighted Feige's brilliance in finding ways to keep the MCU fresh and engaging. Robert Downey, Jr.B., expressed his surprise when Feige brought up Victor Von Doom, a character he wasn't initially familiar with. The idea resonated with him, and he acknowledged Feige's creative thinking. However, Downey Jr.B. wanted to ensure that Disney's CEO, Bob Iger, was on board with this idea. Now, here's where things get interesting. If this truly happens, and Downey Jr.B. returns as Victor Von Doom, it could signal a major shift in the MCU's direction. However, I can't shake the feeling that this might be another one of Marvel's clever misdirection. Bringing back Downey Jr.B. as a variant of Tony Stark seems more logical, considering his iconic portrayal of the character. Why cast the same actor to play a completely different role, when he could easily return as a variant of the character that defined the MCU? That being said, if he is indeed returning as Victor Von Doom, Marvel will need to approach this with great care. Doom is a complex character with a rich backstory, and fans will expect an origin story that does justice to his legendary status. We need to know how he came to be, his connection to Reed Richards, and his journey to becoming Doctor Doom. This is a storyline that deserves depth and detail, and if done right, it could be a game changer for the MCU.